216-575-0403. You can also email us at les@fivefront.com. So what's the big news? Just like anywhere else, Hillis, Shermer, what's going on?
Seems like everybody wants to talk about Peyton Hillis and whether he's upset. It's almost like we've taken reality television, we've applied it to our sports teams, and we should be worrying about, well, how does he feel about his contract? Is he sick? Is he not sick? Was he making a statement about his contract? You know, at the end of the day, he had more carries than Montario Hardesty. He wasn't used enough, and we'll see where it goes from there.
You actually, on the site today, defended the play call with Armand Smith.
I did.
And you mapped it out and showed it. It's really nice the way you put it out there. You could actually see how everybody's set up. And until you did that, I thought if Smith had kind of turned to the outside or just angled to the outside, it would have been better. But you show clearly that there was a seal, and he should have been able to get it up the gut there. Or not the gut, but in the lane.
Right. Well, you know, and ultimately, when a play doesn't work, it's not a good play in a lot of fans' minds. And maybe Armand Smith isn't the guy who should have been in there taking that pitch, but the way the play was designed, Hillis was the decoy. The defense bid on it. If Armand Smith beats the one guy, the safety who made a nice play coming up from 5 yards back, if he beats that one guy, he's got at least 20, if not the rest of the field in front of him. He probably scores. And so it just kind of goes to show, you know, that it truly is a game of inches. And
although maybe Hardesty in that same position might have been able to turn it and shed that one tackler.
Absolutely, that's quite possible. But at the same time, anybody who's on one of these rosters, that was one of our biggest complaints about Eric Mangini, was that he just wouldn't use young guys, and people would kind of rot on the bench. And you know, Armand Smith might not be, you know, he wouldn't have even made the team if Brandon Jackson wasn't hurt this year.
Sure.
But if he's on the active roster, you know, he should be capable of coming into the game and making a play.
If you're Tennessee watching that close, you're figuring, well, they're not going to give the ball to Armand Smith.
Right.
In fact, I didn't like the third down play call. The Hillis was up close. I think Hardesty was in a little bit behind him to his right, and it was just a quick hitter. I just didn't like that play at all. See, I like that less than I liked the fourth down play.
When I think it was Armand Smith was in on both plays, and I think that's why they didn't sub between third and fourth down, because they barely got that play off too, you might remember.
The third down play?
The fourth down play.
The fourth down, yeah.
And so they didn't have time to sub probably because they were trying to figure out, are we punting, are we going, and okay, we're going, which play are we going to call? And so figuring out the play, changing the personnel group, all the, you know, you kind of just have to go with what's on the field.
Yeah, you also have a thing called timeout you're allowed to call.
Well, and if you're the coach, do you ask for a measurement?
Yeah.
After the fourth down play,
no,
or after
the third down play? When the third down play, Hillis gets to about a yard away, and you know time's not on your side because you're rushing in and out.
Right.
Do you ask for a measurement and kind of use that time to, you know, you didn't get it?
When maybe if Shermer's the head coach, not the offensive coordinator as well, you know, these are all the things, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing that Shermer's both.
Yes, it is. If you're not saying it, you should.
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying that Mike Holmgren never should have allowed his first-time head coach to have such an easy criticism lobbed against him.
Yeah, it's out there, and I bid on it. I said from day one it shouldn't have been, even if he's capable. It shouldn't have been. Just like, well, for sure, Mangini shouldn't have been the personnel director / GM either. That's really too big for a head coach. But, you know, I think we were talking before the show that you see these teams, when the offense comes off the field, everybody gathers around. Well, you know what? You can't do that if the head coach is the offensive coordinator, or you shouldn't, because he should be lording over the defense too. And I hate to be picky, but that Cincinnati play, whatever you want to call it, the surprise play, somebody's got to be yelling timeout, and it's got to be the head coach. And if he doesn't, Jaron has to, but somebody has to be calling a timeout on that.
Well, if Shermer's not going to call the timeout in the Cincinnati game, he should be back at the bench working with the offense, looking at, you know.
You can't have it both ways.
One of the other,
yeah. 216-575-0403. We have a secret word, extremely important in any sport I can think of. Say that secret word, we'll send you to Sokolowski's University Inn. We have a question of the week. This week's question of the week, we'll ask our waiting for next year guys, should the Cavs retire Z's number 11? Scott, what do you think?
Yes. I say so just based on, I mean, yes, he wasn't a dominating center. You know, he wasn't a Shaquille O'Neal. He wasn't, you know, on down the line. But he did lead the team in games played, second in points, leading shot blocker, I believe, leading rebounder. I mean, that has to be rewarded. If you're going to have, Nate Thurman's number up
the
there,
bar is low. Is the
I
point.
think Z has to get up there.
How about you, Craig?
I agree. This isn't the Hall of Fame. There are no voters. It's a popularity thing. So make it happen.
Let's extend it to baseball. Should Tommy get a statue out in center field?
Overwhelmingly, the fans want it. So yeah.
You think overwhelmingly they do?
I do. I would have been one of the ones who said no,
Right.
but I see so much, sentiment in the other direction that I'm overruled.
Scott, how about you?
I was at the game when they announced that, the homecoming, and the fans loved it. Now, whether Jim goes to another team next year and then we go through the whole thing again where he wins a World Series with the White Sox, I think that could be up for debate. But he does, again, just like Z. I mean, he's up there in the record books for the team. I think if you're going to reward him.
That home run record is standing forever in Cleveland. Right. The 330, whatever he's got. 216-575-0403 is these are the waiting for next year guys. All I am is the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Cleveland sports.